and the impact and the journey that we're on. But one big message he outlined was that we all have different paths. He discussed how he journeyed first, in school, and then into Pima Community College, and then eventually to the University of Arizona. And again, understanding that everybody has a different path to continued education, and we should embrace that. We should acknowledge that. The gentleman that just spoke with us, Andrew Gilligan, spoke about our solar energy, and again, some really good information on how maybe small businesses can take a look, and if you can't do it, maybe how we influence those around us, and again, thinking forward, thinking towards the future. So thank you very much for those that have come early this morning. And again, this is Isabel Jordelis from the Tucson Hispanic Chamber here via the University of Arizona, and excited to take you on to the next panel discussion. It is my pleasure to welcome COMCE co-moderators, Victor André Gamas, Director of COMCE Sonora, Strategy and Marketing for Gamas Group, Consultant for International Businesses Investing in Mexico for a firm based in Washington, D.C., USMCA negotiator in the Mexican Embassy of the U.S. Also with him this morning is Verónica Ruiz, Director of Strategy, COMCE Sonora, Marketing and Public Relations, Gamas Group. Welcome, Victor and Verónica.
Thank you very much, Isabel. Thank you very much to the Tucson Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, to the University of Arizona, who I know has also been involved in the planning of this organization, and Telemundo and all the other sponsors. It's a pleasure to be with you today. It's a pleasure to have participated in organizing this event and promoting this event and helping out with the research as well, which is a great document, by the way, Isabel, and we're very happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You were a part of it, so we appreciate the partnership and collaboration. You've brought a friend?
Yes, thank you, Isabel. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction and for the invitation, and all of our friends in Tucson Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and everyone involved in the making of this event. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you. Bienvenidos los dos. I'm going to turn it over to you. I know you'll be introducing the panel for today. We're very honored to have you, and thank you.
Yeah, so today we're excited to have two good friends and family members, which is my dad, our president of COMCE Sonora. COMCE, to be specific, is a Mexican Chamber of Business for international trade, foreign investment, and technology development. Victor Hugo is also the Director General for Gamas Group, a logistics and supply chain solutions company in Mexico, based in Mexico City, founded in Nogales, Sonora. And he has also been the president of the Mexican Customs Worker Association. Joining him will be Alfonso Rojas, who is a president of the Latin America and Caribbean Private Sector Working Group at the World Customs Organization in Brussels. He is also the Director General of Cargodec, a logistics company based in Mexico as well. He is calling in from Mexico City, and he is also the Vice President of e-commerce for COMCE at a national level. Welcome. Victor and Alfonso, if you turn on your videos, we will be able to.
Hello everyone. I cannot start my video. It says that the host. Okay, I think there it is. Yes. Thank you very much. I don't know if Alfonso. Okay. Now your microphone, Alfonso.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for the invitation. We're happy to be here. Thank you, Victor André, for the introduction. Verónica, thank you very much for the introduction. Isabel, also thank you for this opportunity for being here and sharing with you some of our ideas and what we are doing in the Mexican side.
Yes, I also very grateful about the invitation. Thank you to the Tucson Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Victor André, Verónica, Isabel. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. So today we'll be talking about trade with Mexico, especially in the Arizona Sonora region, as well as the opportunities that the USMCA presents in terms of e-commerce and for SMEs. So thank you to you both. Veronica, if you would like to start.
Sure, thank you, Victor. And to begin with the panel discussion, I'll start asking Victor. Tell us what makes the Arizona-Sonora region attractive for trade and business. And as president of COMCE in Sonora, as mentioned before, tell us how is COMCE, or the Mexican Business Council for Trade, Investment, and Technology, involved or active in this field at a national level and also locally at Sonora?
Yes, thank you, Veronica. And of course, that's what we like to talk about and discuss. That's part of our business, and that's what we do every day. Explain to different investors or different businesses the opportunities that the region of Sonora, Arizona gives to all of us residents, and how we can do better in our business. We share a common border, and geographically we are associated, so we share different things that we benefit from them. And one of them, of course, is our culture that unites us and makes us like a big family living in a region where we have to share what we have in the northern part of the region and what we have in the southern part of the region. And we both do have a lot of common things that are beneficial for our development of our businesses. We have the shopping malls in the US, in Arizona. We have the commerce, we have different investors and different companies that are always doing to do better. And we in Mexico have our culture, our food, our ocean. So tourism and leisure plus what we buy from each of other from one of both states, of course, makes a community where we can develop and grow together. And this is not something new that we are discovering right now. Of course, it has been our opportunity since ever. And for that, in Mexico, we coordinate many or different efforts how to do better and how to communicate with our partners in the north and provide those essential things that we can bring so in Arizona businesses can do better. As COMCE, that's what we specifically do. We connect Mexican business or US businesses, we connect them and we bring them together so they can integrate their way of doing business, and they can do much better. We have many investments in Sonora that come from the US, as well as there are many investments from Sonora that are in Arizona. I come from, where I am from, Nogales, Sonora, and Nogales, Arizona. And of course, as a community, we share everything. We share our business, we share our border, we do business together all day. And that's part of growing and being or doing better, of course. So as COMCE, as an organization, we have that mission to do and work with different organizations in Arizona so we can expose what we do and what Arizona businesses need. So essentially, that's the answer.
Thank you very much. I want to also touch on the point of that we're currently living in a pandemic that has forced our way of doing business to change drastically. And we've learned that those companies, those businesses that do not change are the ones that are being left behind. But those that were very proactive and that reacted to change and innovated are the ones that are doing well. Can you tell us about this new reality of doing business and what opportunities can there be for businesses in the region despite the many challenges that the current circumstances have presented?
I think that, of course, the pandemic has come in a moment that we were evolving as businesses. We have been evolving since ever, but lately, in the recent years, of course, that we evolved and we got more immersed in what is technology. Technology came to facilitate and helped us to do processes in an easy way. So from that benefit that technology brings to us, what happened now with the COVID-19 is that it just got accelerated. The time went faster. So now with this acceleration, what we are looking at right now is that businesses are transforming to a digital version of them. And of course, that this is the big opportunity that we all businesses need to go to. Transform our processes, transform our way of doing business into the digital mode. If we don't change to a digital mode, if we don't learn, if we don't see that opportunity that is not coming, it is right now with us. If we don't see that, of course, that we have a risk of our businesses. The big question is, how can I do that? Or I am a small business and I'm thinking, and of course, investment, it was not in my budget right now. So how can I do it? How can I transform my business into the new reality of how we may do business? I think that we need to start. And the starting point probably is with no investment, just change of procedures, change of mindset, change of including our organization and our staff and get to learn. Once that we learn, once that we get to know the benefits of transforming our business, then the budget, it will modify immediately, because we are going to see that it's an investment. If I buy a license of a software that will help me to do something better and connect with my customers, and the investment comes to $5,000, $10,000, or $50,000, how much will be my return of the investment? But it is difficult to decide if we don't understand, if we don't learn the benefits, if we don't see what is happening outside and what is happening with other businesses, that they went through this decision faster than what we are taking time to decide. So my comment on that is that we need to accelerate ourselves first, our mindset first, and that could be as the first step. And then the second step will follow in automatic. The second step will be make a decision of changing, of transforming your business. And I think that this applies for small business, medium businesses, and large businesses as the same.
All right. Thank you, Victor. That was a nice insight to the opportunities that businesses have nowadays with technology in the middle of the global pandemic. Now I want to ask you, what is the USMCA impact trade agreement that started 3 months ago, and its opportunities? How was COMCE involved in the development of this trade agreement?
As I mentioned, COMCE is an institution that helps doing business outside from Mexico or Mexican companies doing business outside from Mexico. And it's a facilitator. So as a facilitator, it's a top of the business organizations in Mexico, and having that large representation of all of the international companies established in Mexico. As COMCE, we had a share in the discussion tables about USMCA. And having a share, it meant that we were, as COMCE, part of the decisions and part of the negotiation of what the three countries needed, or they were looking at that they needed. So from the Mexican part, it was COMCE and other institutions also working together with the Mexican authorities first, US authorities, Canadian authorities, and of course the representation for the businesses in Mexico. These working tables, they lasted for more than 3 to 4 years. It was in discussion, different issues, of course. Every country and every sector, they look for their own benefit and they look for their own interest. And of course, that this came to be a discussion. I think that Mexico and the US and Canada, the three countries, at the end, they won what they needed to win. And the success of this negotiation, it will be for the three countries and not for a specific one of the countries, and even not for a specific sector involved in the different industries. It is a balance between all of this. Now that was the texts and the books and all the laws that came around that, and legislation that came around. Now, what we need to see, we have the USMCA, we have it right there, there it is. What we need to see right now is how to use it. We as businesses, how we can benefit from that agreement and how we can apply on our personal benefit or in our different industries. I have heard different companies that they are mentioning that they haven't even read the USMCA agreement, that they still are questioning about very essential issues. But I have heard of other companies that they are very ahead and that they are planning and that they are looking at what's going to be happening on 2021, 2022, and they have their budgets and their projects coming on. So my suggestion here is more farther than what happened before the beginning of the new agreement. Now we need to think ahead. What is going to happen in my sector, in my industry, in my company? How can I benefit, or how can I work with the agreement, and how can we grow with this new opportunities that we now have? Many things, they happened before in the past agreement, the NAFTA. Many things happened in a very accelerated way. And since the starting in 1995, the first 5 years, many changes happened. We know that now that we started the USMCA, changes will not be as fast or as many as we saw back then, but changes are more macro, are more in the big scenario, in the big table. So it's different if we want to compare what we did back before with what we want to do right now. It's very different. So we cannot compare what happened before with what is going to be happening right now. So that's my invitation to consider for all businesses.
Yeah, thank you. It's almost like we take this for granted, and it's not that. You know, it's an opportunity that's been given to us by the three governments, by the three countries, and it's an opportunity that we should all take advantage of, definitely. Now, Alfonso, I want to talk to you about this as well. I know that you are involved in COMCE nationally as vice president in e-commerce. You were involved in the negotiations for various chapters of the USMCA, and you're also involved in trade compliance with the World Customs Organization. I just want to know your take on this very agreement on the USMCA and what other opportunities you can find in it in the realm of e-commerce, in the realm of trade facilitation.
Yes, thank you, Victor André. First of all, let's go back to 2016, when we were very worried about the NAFTA. We have been living with the NAFTA in a very success for many years, more than 20 years. And then we have a red light about it was a very bad agreement. It was a very bad agreement for one of the parts. So we were very worried. And also the steel sector, aluminum, the tomatoes, they were asking maybe they will have a pay extra duties for getting the products from Mexico to the United States. We have a very difficult time on this, on those years. It was about 4 years ago when we began the negotiation of this USMCA. But since then, we have been working a lot with the private sector, with COMCE, with the Mexican authorities. We have in Mexico change of government between those years. And it was very interesting how change from one government to the new one that we have right now with Mr. López Obrador, that we're still pushing ahead in order to have this free trade agreement. Now the rules are clear. Now we have the security of the USMCA. Now I think, in my opinion, that we don't have to think about global markets right now. That the way we used to think from 2015, thinking about global markets, globalization, nope. Now is the era of the regional market. And our regional market is North America. So let's think about regional market. Is the way many countries are thinking in the regions. And in the region of North America, we have the sub-region of Arizona, Sonora. So we have to think about in these regions. But now everything is calm. We have very clarity from all the new rules. Most of them, I agree with most of them. And a very new agreement. COMCE Mexico is the only private sector organization that has an e-commerce committee. So many of the initiatives for e-commerce come from COMCE, and most of the most important companies in e-commerce are working in COMCE, in this committee. So the ideas of this experience of these big companies in this area coming from COMCE.
Thank you, Alfonso, for sharing with us your vision, your thoughts. And well, now I want to ask you specifically, talking about the USMCA chapters. I know that there's a chapter for e-commerce and also another one for SMEs, chapter 19 and 25. So can you tell us about the opportunities that they bring to businesses, considering that this is the first trade agreement with chapters of this kind, and tell us what does this mean for the trade of the region?
Yes, thank you, Veronica. And we have a lot of new issues. This is a very good example to see this agreement, a modern agreement. It's very important for us. And the three countries, Canada, United States, and Mexico, agree in most of the terms of the e-commerce. It was not a big issue of discussions about the e-commerce chapter. So we were very, we agree in about the data privacy, what about the taxes, the security, the risk management, many issues in the e-commerce. But we came to the final decision of the minimis. The minimis is the ceiling of the value of the goods in the e-commerce that make, so those, United States had 800 as a minimis, $800. Below that, it can come to the United States, packages from under that value without, without formal entry, without paid duties. So, and Mexico was a very low, it was $50 before the USMCA. And there was the big discussion, but they leave that until the end of the negotiation. In the real end of the negotiations, Mexico increased this value onto 170. It was the only thing that was very, very strong discussions between the three countries in this topic of the e-commerce. And now we have, when we think about the e-commerce, it happens to me, and I think for many people, we think about the southbound commerce because the big companies of the e-commerce are located in the United States. But this is a very good opportunity also for the Mexican companies. So to get into a new market, and they have the advantage of that 800 minimis value in the United States. And also for those Mexican companies getting into the US market, it's very important to have companies for the supply chain here in the United, well, they're in the United States. I'm in Mexico City. They're in the United States. So it's very important to think in both ways, Right now, most of the e-commerce coming southbound. But I think sooner or later, it will be very high opportunity to come from the northbound.
Yes, thank you. It's definitely very interesting to know that it's easier, and we were talking to Isabel yesterday, it's much easier for somebody in Arizona to purchase something from Sonora than from New York. And it's faster, and it's more efficient, and it's maybe even more personal because you're sharing something with somebody so close. And also we're seeing that SMEs and e-commerce is not just for the regular goods that we can purchase on Amazon. It's also something that we can supply larger companies with, correct? E-commerce is not just something for SMEs that we can think of as mom and pop shops, but e-commerce and SMEs are also those that supply larger manufacturers, correct, Alfonso?
Yes, yes, correct. And I think we have a great opportunity working with the regulations, because it's very good to think, oh, okay, everything below those amounts of the minimis go very fast. Most of the merchandise, yes, but we have a lot of regulations that are not, for example, every ingredients of food, all that you can for eat or drink or drugs or medicines, or you put on your skin, take a contact with the product, all those products requires from the health department. And I think we have to push the health departments to go give those authority to make the e-commerce easiest. And or the mutual recognition. O sea, if those products apply or with the requirements of the FDA in the United States, they should, I think, they can cross the border, because the Mexican government should recognize those authorizations, but that not happened today. So we have to keep working on that, to have the mutual recognition from the other authorities to make the easier the e-commerce. Because if you see in the Amazon website amazon.com, and you see the site amazon.mx, there's a lot of difference on the diversity products.
Yes, definitely. And Mexico still lacks an e-commerce law. So USMCA is really the only law that binds and is regulating this industry. So there's a lot of opportunity, and one that COMCE, of course, is going to be and is already very involved in. So thank you very much, Alfonso. Thank you very much, Victor, for your input. Verónica, it's a pleasure of sharing this, moderating this panel with you. Isabel, I don't know if there are any questions from the audience.
Thank you very much. Thank you, distinguished panel. That was wonderful and very informative. Yes, we do. We actually have a couple of questions that came in here. One is actually about COMCE itself. The question is, are memberships to COMCE specific to only trade businesses?
And no, Isabel, we're happy to talk with anybody that's interested in applying or looking for membership in COMCE. Just this morning, we were talking to a consulting company that consults businesses on how to apply new and innovative technology like machine learning, artificial intelligence into business processes. So there's a wide gamma of opportunities to be involved with COMCE, and we're happy to discuss with anybody interested.
And we do have the information available if they want to register for your newsletter, correct?
Correct. You can register to our newsletter just by emailing me. I know we can share information later. I can put it in the chat as well. So happy to, the more the better.
Absolutely. The other question was, you know, you were talking about, the member wanted to know how you were talking about how small businesses can apply or participate in some of these opportunities that exist. What are some thoughts or recommendations you would have for a small business looking to enter in the market and vice versa?
I don't know if Victor or Alfonso want to answer that.
Small businesses, small businesses wanting to enter into the market of the international business. There are different windows how you can enter. I can think about different perspectives. In the tourism business, for example, we have a Vamos a Tucson program that does a lot of promotion of bringing consumers from the Mexican side to Tucson. So if I'm in the business of tourism and I am not a big hotel or a big brand in the restaurant business, but I'm a small business, local business, how can I bring those consumers to be interested in visiting my coffee shop or my small restaurant? Well, probably a way of doing it is through Vamos a Tucson and just getting to work along with Vamos a Tucson. And another way of promoting right now, of course, that there are many electronic ways of doing marketing. So if I have a product that I think that I can sell to the Mexican consumers, well, a big way of exposing your product is through the digital marketing. And I think that for us in Mexico, it works. It works reading, it works looking through the internet. We in Mexico love to look into Google and to Facebook and all the different social media channels. So I think that if I want to sell something into the Mexican side, expose. Just say that you are here, and we as Mexicans, one thing that we as Mexicans love is to do business with our colleagues in the US that they are Hispanic also. So so that's a great opportunity of how to engage and build a relationship. No, I don't know, Alfonso, if you have something.
Yes, I would like to add something. Most of the US firms that trade with Mexico are small and medium companies. So I think this agreement is a tailor-made for entrepreneurs and small businesses. Because the intellectual property, because of the cross-border issues, because we have already done clear the rules. So now it's very secure for the investment to expand the market to Mexico right now. And Mexico is thinking about regional.
Very
so
good.
the States also.
Very good. I think you hit on a key point is that you're ready, and that builds confidence. Like the USMCA supports the process. And also interesting what I think Victor called out is that we haven't educated ourselves on it. Yes. So how do we begin to really inform ourselves of what is in the USMCA and how we can benefit as business owners? Those are some very, very clear call outs that we would agree. And hence why we're so pleased to have you all here with us today. The other thing that I'd like to circle back to is that first comment that was made about our united culture. And absolutely agree, we share culture, we share history, and continuing to understand that USMCA just organizes it so that we can freely start to do business across border lines and understand and enroll people in that process. So we thank you for that. And I'm going to say this in Spanish, y como dijo el señor Víctor, es que hay que empezar, ¿verdad? Nomás empiecen, pónganse ahí en el social media y que sepan que estamos interesados y que hay oportunidad. Hay que empezar.
Correct.
So I want to thank our panel from COMCE, Sonora, and Mexico, actually COMCE Mexico, and all our distinguished panel. Victor, André, thank you so much for the partnership that we've established between our COMCE and the Tucson Hispanic Chamber. We want to extend an open invitation for you to come and engage with us in the future. And we thank you for putting a beautiful end to our week of Hispanic Market Outlook, sharing the information that was very valuable. It will all be available again on our website, and this distinguished panel who took time from all over Mexico to be here with us. The beauty of technology, ¿verdad?
Yes, well, thank you very much, Isabel, for the partnership, and not just partnership, but friendship. As said, we are very similar. We are the same, Mexico and United States, especially Hispanics and Mexicans. And so these cultural ties go far beyond the commercial ties. And we here at COMCE are available to help you navigate the situations we are living in and to understand the opportunities that are present in Mexico. That's why we're here in the Tucson Hispanic Chamber. We believe it benefits both sides equally, and we're excited to help the Hispanic Mexican American community in Southern Arizona to be financially empowered through Mexican trade. So thank you very much, Isabel, for the invitation and for the partnership.
I am so sorry. I know we were finishing up, but we had one last question from a member pop in, if you'll indulge me and let me ask you.
Okay.
As a small business, what advice do you have to all of us that are looking to expand nationally and internationally?
Do you want to go ahead, Alfonso, or?
Can you repeat it, please?
As a small business, what advice do you have to all of us that are looking to expand nationally and internationally?
Well, the most important is when you expand your market, you have a new variety of consumers. We have to think not in our city, our county, so we have in our region, and the region is Mexico and the United States.
Yeah.
Very good.
From my point of view, if you're a small business and you want to think national or go international, I can say that it's just a project. You need to develop your steps. You need to say, I was like this back then, I am like this right now, and I want to be like this in my future, my near future, my midterm, and my long-term project. And with those definitions, once that we see our picture of what we were before, how we are right now, and what we want to be, our vision grows and expands. So if you want to take your business national or international, it's not your business, it's you, it's your mindset. It's what you really want to do. And if I want to do that, I am going to find a way of doing it. Just saying it from myself, I think that it's very easy, no? And I'm saying it like, it's easy, just do it. No, I know, and we all know that it's not easy. If it were easy, everybody could do it. It's not easy. It costs you a lot of hard work. It costs you a lot of time. It costs you a lot of challenges. It costs you a lot of difficult moments. It costs you almost everything. One thing for sure is don't take the risk where you can lose more than what you can afford. So be cautious in your growing, in the way that you're growing. Be very cautious. Do a lot of benchmarking, how others are doing. I heard once from one consultant saying, if you want to be number one, don't be number one. It's okay to be number 4 or number 5. It's okay. Let the number one to make all the mistakes. You can be behind learning from him. In a moment, you are going to be number one. So that's how I see the growing of a business. And I think that, of course, there are many challenges, but once that you decide to do it, I know that it's possible, and I assure you that you will do it.
Well said. What a wonderful way to end this session. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Estamos agradecidos de COMCE México y nuestros colegas que nos acompañaron esta mañana. Agradecidos. Gracias.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you.
Hasta luego.
Thank you.
Hasta luego. Gracias.
Thank you, Verónica, André, Grupo. Bye.
Bye.
Well, everyone,